Welcome back to Marvel Media Podcast, where we talk about all things media, especially Marvel. I'm Blake, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Alex and Josh.
And welcome to another movie review. Today we will be doing Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I'm a few days removed from it. I'm still kind of gathering my thoughts on the movie. I'll let one of you guys go first, if you guys don't mind.
Go ahead, King.
I'm in a negative mindset right now, so I want to start with the bad things about the movie. Fuck them kids, just to end it like that. Solid movie overall, but to end it with another kid being introduced in another straight Marvel movie. Just why? Don't need it, unless if they're trying to set up somewhere in a battle with Kang, somehow it goes in the future and he quickly grows up and we just know him straight from the name, then maybe. But otherwise, just no, I don't care. Do not care in any regard at all. Hope Namor kills him. That's how I feel right now. But movie-wise, it was a good sequel. In fact, maybe recency bias, but I thought it was even way better than the first one. The music was great. The only weird thing, and it's not its fault, it's mainly just because of the trailers before the movie. I just kept thinking Avatar 2. Anytime the blue people just came up, bro, and all the water scenes, the music playing when Zuri was going down Namor, I'm just thinking, man, Avatar got its sequel finally. Overall, hey, mainly good things about this movie.
Yeah, I agree. It was a bit of rough timing of Avatar 2 obviously coming out soon. Blue people in the water. A little rough there, but I agree with you. Overall, like you said, I think this was a really solid sequel. I don't want to go into my negatives quite yet, but overall I thought, saying it was better than the first one. Little extreme there, but obviously that's a personal thing. It's a personal thing, so who cares? But yeah, I thought this movie was good. The music, like you said, really stood out to me. I feel like overall, there's a lot of emotional scenes, and the music was really good with it. And then obviously when she was down with Namor discovering Talokan, that music in the background was dope. And one of my big takeaways was, besides some, again, I don't want to go too much into this yet, the CGI was really good for the most part. Besides at the end, the costumes for Okoye, Ironheart, and at times her Zuri's Black Panther was a little meh in the desert. But for the most part, the CGI I felt was really good in this movie, which was nice for Marvel considering recently they've had some slip-ups. But overall, like you said, I thought this was a really good sequel. Obviously, really tough losing Chadwick Boseman. They couldn't do, the original plan, but I thought they did good with honoring him at the beginning, which was really emotional. But yeah, I agree. I thought they did a really good job with this.
Yeah, the first thing I texted you guys was, it made me cry.
It made me cry.
Straight up. I'm not even gonna shy away from it. It did make me cry a few times, or at the very
Where exactly?
minimum,
I don't
it made me tear
remember
up.
you saying when.
No, I teared up at the beginning, during the silent thing, and and then low key, I didn't cry, but I kind of started tearing up a little bit when they killed. Spoiler alert, just putting that out there. They killed the queen, and I was like,
Yeah.
damn. I don't know why I started tearing up, but at that moment I'm like, dude, she just lost her father in Civil War. She lost her brother at the beginning of this movie. Now she loses her mom. I'm like, damn. I gotta say, I heard a lot of things about the actress Letitia Wright. How problematic she was or whatever. Hey, she acted her ass off. For
Nah, she
going
wasn't
as
problematic. She ain't do nothing wrong.
Okay. Well, either way, she went from being she was like a side character, but she was kind of like the comic relief in the first Black Panther. And she wasn't in it too much, but for her to go from that to this, where she goes from literally just having like maybe 5 to 7 minutes of screen time combined to leading a whole movie. I mean, she did a really good job. The emotional scenes hit. I'll say the other part that I definitely teared up was at the end when she was burning the like their
Like the
attire
funeral
that
attire,
they wore
yeah.
to the funeral. Yeah. And you start seeing like her like memories of T'Challa, and I'm like just like, damn, why the fuck you gotta do that to me now? Like the movie's almost over. Yeah, and that got me like teary eyed too. But yeah, dude, it was definitely emotional, which I expected. They weren't forced in comedy, which I definitely appreciated. The parts, and it actually made like the parts that were funny, or like the very few parts that they intentionally went for a joke, it actually landed and it didn't feel forced. I want to say the majority of those scenes were probably Ironheart and M'Baku. They were really the two that made my theater laugh. But like I said, it wasn't like joke, which we kind of expected and
Right.
we hoped for, because like you can't be doing that in this sort of movie. And I like that they kind of added that in there. It was a nice blend, so it didn't feel like it was overwhelming, and it was like a nice tension breaker, so it didn't feel all like gloomy the entire fucking movie and emotional, which is good. You gotta have that balance, and I think they did that perfectly. Standouts, the Queen freaking killed it. Her acting was amazing. Like I said, Letitia Wright, amazing. I like the villain. A lot of people, I mean, I guess antagonist, whatever the fuck people are calling Namor. As soon as I got out of the theater, started looking on Twitter, as I normally do after all these big releases, kind of seeing what people are saying. A lot of people are saying that Ryan Coogler has done the two antagonists of his films probably one of the best in the Marvel franchise, along with Thanos, of course. But the bar isn't really high, when it comes
for the
to
most
those
part,
villains.
the villains have sucked.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not wrong. His two antagonists were up there. And then there's a lot of people saying that,
we can just say shout out to Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan making his appearance. I thought that was a really cool scene.
Yeah, and it making sense too.
Right. Like
I thought would be a hard thing to do.
Plane.
Yeah.
That for a second I was like, who are they going to show? Like, I didn't think they're going to show the Queen. I was like, are they doing something else? And like, what are they doing here? And then when Michael B. Jordan shows up, like, okay, well, this is getting interesting, and it makes sense. Like we all kind of like were kind of skeptical. Like, we heard rumors that they might bring back Michael B. Jordan. Like, how? I mean, he's dead. That kind of finished. But bringing him back in his form in the ancestral plane, being that kind of that other side of the coin, like he was in the first Black Panther, being that more aggressive. He wants to take stuff and change stuff like immediately, and T'Challa was the more noble one, where he was more like guiding people in the right direction, whereas Killmonger wanted to take them himself and just put it in their hands, basically, is what he was trying to do. This guy
had 2 minutes of time, and all he did was come in and spit facts. That's all I'm saying.
And then, and that kind of influenced Shuri. Like, she was from that point on, she was on demon mode. She wanted to kill Namor, and I mean, it makes sense. He fought like
she should have,
bro. The coldest fucking response as soon as he killed the Queen. He was like, "Mourn your losses. You are the Queen now." I'm like, bro, that is cold. That is fucking.
Just said cold. Deal with it.
Yeah. Dad literally said, "Mourn your losses, bury your dead. You're the Queen now."
Yeah.
Like, okay. And then fucking flew off.
That was cold. But yeah, I mean, I got a few negatives, but I'll let someone else kind of take over for now.
I would say like a couple highlights for me in the movie was, once again, I'm really liking how Marvel's kind of handling like the real world governments, like experiencing what's going on in the Marvel universe. Like the opening scene practically with the Queen in the UN like council meeting of her just capturing the guys was awesome. Was just dope as shit in general. And them just coming in, having them all trapped up, and then also forcing them to like know what she told them in her language to kneel down was great. That was just perfection. Also makes sense that other governments are trying to find their resources and go mining and all of that, as well as try to steal from them. So just love that little just tiny scene that was just great. As well as, you know, makes sense because the whole point of them to actually be in the real world since Civil War. Other great things, Namor was just badass overall. Glad he was so powerful, which I think is the biggest reason why Black Panther movies, their villains are considered so great, because both of them in each movie were just not really nerfed in any regard. They were just straight up powerful, and then the hero had to meet them at their strength. Not really the fact the villain was nerfed in any way. Also, Namor said that he was a mutant, so another new Marvel project that's, you know, letting that word mutant spew out there. The fight scenes overall were pretty great. There wasn't any moment where I felt like it looked bad or wasn't really well, I don't know, filmed in any regard.
CGI was like the final fight of the first Black Panther level. Like, let's just put that out there. It never gets to that level at all.
Yeah, it's kind of like just us nitpicking really at the end of like the suits. I mean, the suits did look pretty bad, but like
Okoye's and Ironheart's suit are trash. So bad. And it's not even the CGI, it's like the design they decided to go with. Okoye literally looks like she's Predator. It looks dog shit. And Ironheart looks like she's out of a fucking anime or Big Hero 6. Like, what the fuck?
More like a Power Ranger.
yeah, she looks more like a Power Ranger.
I mean, we can go on and on about Ironheart, dude. It's just...
Yeah, I'm going to say, for some of my standouts, I would say it was dope to see Val show up. She's now the director of the FBI, which was big.
And a colonizer to return.
Yeah, love to see him back. He was another bright spot. Didn't like their forced previous relationship. They're divorced now. That part was just a little like meh to me. I was like, whatever. But it was just cool to see Val, you know, connect more stuff, obviously. Ironheart, I had bigger hopes for her. I feel like she was pretty cool in the beginning, but towards the end she kind of got to like, she feels the same as what Marvel's been doing with these characters. Like, so many of these characters are the same thing. Like Kate Bishop, Ironheart, Miss Marvel. I mean, there's more that I can't think of off the top of my head right now, but they all feel the exact same. Like these young teenage girls that are all like, they're the same character, and it's kind of like, let's get a little different depth. I feel like, unfortunately, Cassie Lang gonna kind of have that same thing, but it's like, let's get a little depth here, people. Let's write them a little.
They're
bit
just
different.
a copy clones of their predecessor, but overly cocky. That's literally what it is.
That's all it is, and it's like, can we get? Yeah. Let's write things a little better. But overall, I mean, like you said, this movie, I think it did a good job of matching the first Black Panther in terms of, you know, the overall tone of, like we said, the villains, Namor and Killmonger, very similar in a good, not just a copy-paste way, just like a very good way. But also we had those connections with Val and other stuff to build towards the future world, which is cool. So overall it's good, but you know, I'll say it, Marvel, with all these young characters that keep getting added in, all teenagers, all the same thing. Is Marvel turning into Sky High? Is that the next project? What the fuck are we doing? Can we stop adding teenage characters? No one cares. They're never written good. The acting is not good. Let's get mature adults. Let's get real shit happen. This is literally turned to Sky High.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care. T'Challa,
Especially since we haven't even finished the stories of the previous characters we have. I mean, Captain Marvel hasn't even got her second movie out yet. You know what I mean?
and we're already
Like,
creating Miss Marvel. Like, we're already trying to replace them.
yeah.
Like, we just saw. I mean, I think it seems like M'Baku is now king of Wakanda. It sounds like because no one challenged him. But
Yeah, he said that at
she-
the end. It was a little like off-putting moment.
right. But she's keeping the Black Panther title. It sounds like she just got the Black Panther title, and we already are
Mhm.
introducing T'Challa too. Or
Yeah.
Junior, I guess. Why? Why are we just trying to get all these replacements of these young trash kids? Just stop. Please stop, Marvel. Let's finish some storylines. Let's have adults. Let's have good acting. Don't need Sky High. But
Yeah.
that's my issue with the future. But overall, Black Panther Wakanda Forever was definitely a good movie. I kind of want to see it again. Like already, I'm ready to see it again. I feel like I want to rewatch it, maybe miss some stuff, pick up on new clues. But yeah, it was good job, Marvel. I was happy going into it. I was kind of thinking that this one's going to be a little different. It just seems like it was going to be better. I was more hyped for it, and it delivered.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it
Shout
felt
out
like
to
just a
Michael.
classic, good, like OG Marvel project. And that's how it felt like for me, anyways. And it hit all the marks that I wanted, and it actually came out better than I expected it to. But going off your tangent, the Ironheart, it's just, I'm not at all excited about this character because it's tough because it's just overall just a weak character to write about a story for. Because it's literally just an Iron Man clone, but just a young teenager. So we're just going to see the same story practically, but in a very just slightly different light. And we just don't need that in this Marvel universe. And like if you were trying to create like the next Iron Man, the only option in my eyes would have been the kid from Iron Man 3, aka the mechanic or whatnot, the deal with him. Because like they showed him at the end for Endgame. I'm like, that could be a cool storyline for him to, he has a reason to try to become Iron Man other than just someone being, you know, really smart again. But, you know, not building it from a cave or anything like that. It's just kind of like, we don't need it at all in any regard. And if you're trying to just have a genius in general, we already have that with Zuri. And that's what's supposed to be the cool thing about her character. As she's going beyond just her genius as becoming the Black Panther. So
Yeah, because they
Right.
literally said at the
Yeah,
end, like,
she
Namor.
got the strength of the Black Panther, and she's smart
Right.
as hell.
yeah,
Yeah, Namor said at the end, he's like, she's now the most powerful being because she has the Black Panther and she has her intellect. And if she needs to, she can always go back to Wakanda, obviously, although she's not queen. Obviously, she still has a
Yeah.
huge pull there, which is the most powerful nation. So it's like,
which makes her pretty
Right,
badass
she's the
and a
protector.
cool story. Yeah,
why can't we just focus on her? Why? It's just like, I don't know.
instead of
I
this
just feel like-
force character from Ironheart that just barely anybody wanted, did not do good in comics in general as well. It just didn't need to happen at all. So it's tough because they're definitely going to be in a lot of more projects. So hopefully it gets better. But that suit looked awful, and I could just care less.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, like they've been kind of shoehorning in these, kids like spawn of these, OG Avengers or related or copy and clone of them. I'm like, dude, there's so many more characters that aren't just copy and clones that you can introduce. I could probably.
How about this? Let's just focus on Fantastic Four and X-Men for a little bit.
Yeah.
Why do we need to replace all the OG Avengers with like people who are just like you were saying, clones and stuff? Why can't the Avengers whole storyline just chill out for a little bit? All right, they all got older, they all died or retired or did whatever. Now
Yeah.
you let mutants and X-Men and the Fantastic Four kind of lead the way for a little bit, and then you can let these characters, somewhat have their replacements, I guess, come in later. But it's like, we don't need to just keep forcing like, oh, Hulk has been ass in the MCU. We're just gonna randomly
Boom.
throw his son
Kid.
in out of nowhere,
Yeah.
If we gotta have a Hulk, duh. It's just like Hawkeye. He had a great storyline. All right, I like Kate Bishop. But if she was just Kate Bishop, then I'd be cool. But then we started to be like, oh, well, we have Kate Bishop. All right, now let's just start throwing in Cassie Lang and all these other young fucking kids. And it's like, stop. Just stop.
We haven't even got Sam Wilson Captain America movie yet.
And they're already talking about like Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah. We don't need it. That's
Like,
it's too much.
Like,
you can
just
calm
wanna see
down.
Anthony
like
Mackie
you can
have
do it,
his
just
time.
do it gradually and do it over, like, later. Like, not shoehorn
Show your
in
role.
all of them so soon into, like, literally the phase after the first saga ended. Like, you gotta do that later on, man. Like you were saying, Fantastic Four, mutants. Focus on that, grow that, so you combine them together. You have the remaining Avengers fight Kang, and then from the aftermath of that, you start to introduce these young kids, or a kid or two, not fucking 30 of them. It's too much. I agree. Now, out of all of them, say that this was the only like other kid that was introduced other than Kate Bishop, I'd be fine with that, because I feel like, right, they want to do T'Challa. This is like the best way they can to kind of keep that the name alive, right? I mean, what happened to Chadwick was tragic, sad. We understand that. We don't want to recast that T'Challa. We have him have a kid. It makes sense. The story, the way they did it, it makes sense. It's just unfortunate that it happened now when we just got Scar. We just got fucking Cassie Lang's gonna be in Ant-Man and the Wasp. We got all these other kids. Like, if that wasn't a
Thor's
thing,
kid now.
Thor's kid. Oh my
Thor's
god.
got a kid. Miss
Yeah, I
Marvel.
forgot about
Don't
that.
forget.
I forgot about that part.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate because honestly, just looking at it as like a singular film, it does it justice. It's just unfortunate, but I can see what they're trying to do, and they're trying to respect the actor and also keep the name alive. And it makes sense. Eventually, he'll grow into it. Just have Shuri be the Black Panther for a while. That's all I'm saying. Like, now that you fucking did it, at least let her be the Black Panther for a while. Don't even do anything yet. Just let him grow up. But back to the actual
we got a
negatives
little
of the film.
Yeah.
Back to the negatives of the
Let's
film.
get back to Black Panther.
I want to say that, me personally, the pacing towards the middle there kind of got a little, slow. It kind of dragged on a little bit. I think a lot of that would be attributed to them constantly cutting back to Ross and Val. I don't mind that they were in it at the beginning when they were kind of investigating the the fight on the bridge, and maybe like one more time, but they kept cutting back. It kind of felt like it was too much, and it kind of added to that runtime. Me personally, I felt like maybe have the first scene, another scene, and then the ending. Have that just 3 scenes. You don't need to do like fucking 5 or 6 of them. That's just me personally. It felt like it kept cutting away. Yeah, I think that's like the most. I feel like if they would have done that and just kind of cut it from a 2 hours and 45-minute film, which I believe is what the runtime is, and kind of make it a 230 to 225, kind of in that range, this probably would have been a 10 out of 10, because acting on point, visually it looks good, it was directed well, the action sequences were very well done. I would probably say it's done better than the first one. I'd say the only fight that kind of stands out from the first one is the fight with Killmonger on the fucking waterfall.
What is happening right now? This is both of you have said that this has better than the first one. What are we talking about?
No. Hold on. I'm saying that the choreography...
The fighting in the first one was better. It was better. Bro, the fight scene of them challenging for the throne alone was better than anything in this movie.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that besides that like that one fight, I want to say for the most part, it was more consistent here. Let's just be honest. It's more consistent throughout the entire film. Like the fight scenes, the way they were choreographed, the way they looked. from start to finish.
Nah, bro, the
You
fight
can't
scene
say the
in
same thing.
casino was
You
dope in the
can't
first
say
one.
the same thing about the first one.
Hey man, the first one's it's just overrated, man. That's with me even watching it right before watching the second one. It's how I feel personally about it.
I wouldn't say it's overrated, but
that's fine and all. It's everyone. Yeah, it's obviously everyone's opinion. I'm just saying. Let's just slow the roll. And the fight scenes in the second one, not really
overall,
a match.
I'm saying one. No. Okay. Let me just make this very, very clear. The peak fight scene definitely is in the first Black Panther. I think we can all agree that the challenge fight is probably like the best fight out of the two movies. But all I'm saying is you take that out, it's more consistent in this film.
Bro,
you don't have like the fucking fight from the final battle in the first Black Panther is just not.
It's pretty bad.
It's not that great.
It is really bad.
That fight is not great. I'll agree. That fight wasn't the best. It did have moments that were good, but the end of this one, the fight of everybody on the ship versus the Avatar people, was not good at all. Every time they cut to that, I was like, I don't give a fuck. Go back to Namor's fight. That fight was ass. Like, no one cared in that. No one cared when they were fighting on the boat.
Just like no one cared when the border people were fighting the other tribes. And
yeah,
they brought rhinos. Same thing.
When T'Challa showed up.
Okay, and then as soon as T'Challa left,
and the Dora Milaje fighting the people, that was good. That was good. It had its moments.
I'm just saying, it's just more consistent.
Milaje, you had that's cap. That's cap, bro.
It may not peak. It may not peak like the first one did with that fight, but at least it's more consistent in my eyes, and a good consistent. It was good consistent. That's all I'm saying. But
low key with Alex on this one.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just saying, y'all tripping right now.
Like I said, my only gripe with it is kind of kept cutting back to them too much, and the pacing kind of slowed down there. That's all I really gotta say.
I'd say the only thing, like you just said you didn't like the final big fight on the boat. I mean, small note for me, I like the fact that just the Wakandans were getting their asses kicked. I mean, they were losing that fight. So it's like, it's kind of just was nice that it added to the fact that they weren't just magically winning that, because they just shouldn't have. It was a risky ass plan. As well as, hey, spoiler, just the fact that Shuri just gets stabbed there in the middle and then Killmonger scene pops up again. It's kind of dope. Me personally, I wanted someone to die there, whether it was Zuri or Namor. Just be nice. Just be brutal. Be just totally shocking. Let someone just die in that fight scene. I am glad that still both are alive. I get that's a bit hypocritical, but can you imagine if one of them in that fight scene just gets got? Like, if that in that moment, if Zuri dies, that'd be crazy. But hey, I'm still glad that we get more of Namor, as he's a badass character, and he has his old little evil plan. I mean, like, eventually they'll need us, but hey, came out of that film way happier than Thor, so major dub.
I mean, that's not that, like, the bar is very low for that one. You're like, how the fuck do these two films come from the same studio in like a 5-month span?
Yes.
The difference was that one was directed by Ryan Coogler, who probably hasn't made a bad film yet, and the other one was Taika Waititi.
The other one's by Attention Horror. So.
Facts. I also agree with you that I kind of wanted Namor to die at that end scene. Like, that would have been... I understand for the character development, like, maybe it wouldn't have been the best thing for her to kill somebody. But, like, my boy Killmonger showed up in her mind again. I was like, that dope. She jumped over him, and then she was like, Wakanda forever, and the ship blew up behind. I was like, dude, I hope she kills him right now. That'd be dope. But like you said, I get what you mean. Namor is a cool character, so it's cool that he is alive. And we'll see how he has an impact in the future. But I agree with you. I was kind of rooting for somebody die here. That'd be pretty dope. But overall, I feel like the pacing actually was like really solid in this for being. Is it the second longest MCU movie, right?
It's
No
if
idea.
it's if it's
think
not,
it's
it's
the
definitely the
second
third.
longest.
If not, it's
I
definitely
just
the
I
third.
can't remember if Infinity War is longer or not, but for being like you said, like 245, I felt like they did a good job. Like you said, there was a couple scenes where you're a little like, okay, whatever. But for the most part, to have a movie that long, I feel like the pacing was actually really good. I mean, Thor: Love and Thunder was what, like 20 to 30 minutes shorter and felt 5 hours longer. So it was
Yeah.
just
A lot of that is
pacing
attributed
was
to the writing.
well done. Well, yeah, absolutely. But overall, I mean, I feel like this is a tough one for me to like give a grade out of 10. To be honest, like I go back and forth. I think I'm gonna settle somewhere around like an 8.2, somewhere in that range, a low 8. I feel like is pretty good for this one for me personally.
Fair enough.
I'll go with the 8.5. Go with the 8.5.
Yeah,
It
mine
made me
was-
tear up like a few times, so I was like, you know, that it made it go from an 8 to a fucking 8.5. So I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, mine's around the same ballpark. I was gonna say 8.4. Yeah, could have been way higher if somebody died. Just I love the balls when someone just kills a character. Takes a lot.
I mean, he
It
did
does.
kill the queen, which I did not think that anyone was really gonna die. Other
That
than
was a good scene, but I'm talking like a main character vibe.
I mean, she was a big part of the movie. She was a
yeah,
big
she
part.
was yeah.
It's fair. It's fair.
For like a good
Also
portion of the movie, she was
underrated
kind of
scene.
carrying it.
Her taking away Okoye's being the leader of the Dora Milaje scene. That scene was dope. Big fan of that.
That was
That
intense.
was emotional. That was powerful.
Yeah. She just straight up, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Failed.
She was
We
like,
do not care.
she was like,
Like, where
I have
were you
lost
when
everyone in my
Killmonger was
family.
taking the throne, and
Yeah.
she sided with? And I was
That
like,
was a whole-
damn.
Yeah.
She kept receipts.
That was a
for
whole
that
different
shit.
debate they could get into. For real. They could
Yeah.
get into a whole debate about, who was loyal to them, who's loyal to the throne, that whole thing, which would have been cool. But overall, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. They did a great job with the sequel. Obviously, just end this on a R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. It was sad not having him there. But they did the best that they could without him. And, I think that's going to wrap up this video. Make sure to leave a like on this, subscribe to the channel, comment down below your thoughts on it. Check us out on other social medias, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. And check out Apple Podcasts, where the podcast version drops at the same time. And we'll see you guys in the next one.